And we're back for game number 2 of this best of 3. Apparently a remake from Alt-Pick. And yeah, that's one of the fun things about casting from replays. And when you don't know the result and you don't know any details about the series at all, sometimes you just get surprised that way. So either way, not going to have a lot of draft to analyze for you. But we'll be able to talk about the picks, and we can see Kaipi, man. I'll give Envy credit, and I actually was having a discussion with a guy, with one of our viewers, and want to thank you, by the way. And I hope that even though we disagreed on this point, you know that I'm happy that you're having discussion about the games, even if you and I happen to disagree. But really, the Ursa pickup in game 1, it just didn't make any sense. In the sense that they had already picked lane. I mean, when you looked at what Fnatic had already drafted, they were almost definitely going offensive tri lane. There was really no doubt about it. Ursa does not do well there. He has very little lane presence to begin with. And then you have 3 heroes in particular, and honestly, almost every hero hard countered the Ursa. But the Lone Druid, the Lifestealer, and the Bane all just completely took Ursa out of the game. This time around, though, I think Kaipi's in much better shape, and I'll tell you why. Well, I mean, when you look at Fnatic, they still have a lot of ways to counter him, still have a lot of ways to deal with him. Have the Lone Druid and the Lifestealer in particular. But those 2 heroes, as good as they are going to have to contend with a few things out of Kaipi. Most importantly, it's this hero right here. Bane being with the Ursa instead of against the Ursa this time makes a huge difference, and poor Zizou. Probably going to be our first blood. Eats an Illuminate, throws the Nightmare out, no tails right there. He can't get his way out. Oh, that's a shame. Just trapped in a little too easy. Actually, first blood going to go to Zizou before he does end up dropping. Does get 1 auto attack off at the last minute, and they're going to be able to turn this around to get 2 for 1. Now Era. Oh, Era took open wounds and not rage first. He's dead. This is what you need if you're an Ursa. You need a good start, you need solid lanes, and you need to make sure you stay on par and farm, you don't fall behind. But yeah, this hero right here is the central hero in game 1 and will be the central hero in game 2. Having him with the Ursa, the fact that he can guarantee take out one of the two targets in the Lifestealer and the Lone Druid once he hits level 6, that's gigantic. Then you can have the other one. What they're probably going to look to do is Fiend's Grip. Hold on, we're going to have a little bit more aggression as we see trading of some pain, and the Gale from Pylai Die. I haven't even had a chance to talk about how brilliant your draft is this time compared to last game. They are going to get a kill. They may... Nope, never mind. He's going to make it away. Zizou taking some damage, but he should be fine. But yes, in comparison to game 1, this draft is so much better. They actually have some reliable help for the Ursa, and they have the ability to take the Lifestealer out of the fight with the Bane, and then you can Gale the Druid. In big team fights, they have a lot more damage, and this is the other thing about that draft I didn't like. Their damage output was really reliant on Ursa's burst. You had a Leshrac on your team, and you had the single target DPS of a Nyx, and that's grand. But you were against predominantly tanky heroes, Undying, Lifestealer, Lone Druid, etc. So the Nyx wasn't as big of an influence as he would have liked to have been in most cases. But this time you've got a Queen of Pain to help you out in the mid game, to help you out. And depending on how she builds, what I hope we'll see out of Arise is a build towards a Scepter and then a Scythe of Ice. That's another way to disable one of the prime targets you're going to be after. And yeah, this is the kind of lineup that an Ursa belongs in. This is obviously we didn't get to see the draft because it wasn't included on the replay. It was a remake from Alt-Pick. This is a draft that an Ursa Warrior can work in. Game 1, I felt like it was a reach, and it turned out to be one. He just was a non-factor. But in fact, when I look at this, the big thing that he's going to have to worry about is going to be Blinding Light, at least in the early phases. The miss percentage coming off of Keeper of the Light with Blinding Light can be problematic for him. But aside from that, if they can do well in their lanes, which honestly I think they're going to be fine, Bybone's in a much better situation this time as a Darkseer up against Trixie. Trixie should do all right, but Bybone's going to do more than all right. We can already see. I mean, he's going to have free farm, basically. With the Ion Shell, he's going to be able to cut creeps, going to be able to pressure the tower, try to force a reaction. So he's going to be off to a great start. He'll have up a very quick mechanism. Here in mid, no way Arise should do anything but really well against Hani. Hani's an excellent mid player, and we can see he's got 17 to the 11 of the Queen of Pain, and that's not to take anything away from Arise. Arise was, if I had to pick an MVP, at least in one game, like the most impressive performance I've seen out of any one player so far in the Western Qualifier was Arise in their match against Empire. So I'm an Arise fanboy. Sign me up for the fan club. I want my Dakota ring. But he's just not on the same level as Hani in individual skill. And that's not a knock on Arise. That's just Hani's that damn good. So, still yet, he should do fine here. Hani's just a really solid mid player and knows how to handle a Windrunner with the best of them. But he should do fine. This tri-lane has already been abandoned by Fnatic. And this is problematic for a number of reasons. I mean, abandoning the tri-lane is probably the right call to make. You're too far behind. You've given up way too much. You're going to be playing from behind in a very risky situation if you don't do this. But look what's happened. You've got Trixie, who's now farming the jungle. You've got Era, who wasted time going from top to bottom, trying to soak up last hits as a melee against the Darkseer. That's going to be problematic. You're already way behind, but more importantly, the Ursa is getting his farm. This is when Ursa gets ugly. And I've actually broadcasted Ursa quite a bit, not just because of Kaipi picking him 3 times in their last 2 matches. They picked him once against Empire as well. But there's just something about this hero. I always tell pro players they need to play more Ursa. And I guess they just give me my wish. But in the D2L, he's been picked more than a handful of times. D2L Season 1 and Season 2. And every time I've seen an Ursa get free farm to begin a game, he's gone berserk. Every single time. When he's under pressure, he tends to struggle. You give him free farm, give him an early tier 1, etc. He will just go berserk on you. Probably the best example of that was DD versus Evil Geniuses in D2L Season 2. When I saw Fear run Ursa mid against Crit, who was playing Disruptor. I mean, and, Disruptor got his last hits. He did all right. But Fear had a billion last hits and had a billion points of experience because he was mid solo and there was no real pressure put on him. And that's kind of where we are now. He's going to be getting predominantly solo lane experience and solo lane farm out of this tri-lane that is largely uncontested. Fly's basically just here to soak experience and to try to get last hits with Illuminate while trying to keep this tower up. And, good Shackle from Hani. They're going to follow it up with a good Fissure. Blink's going to be enough to get him out of trouble. And Bane, the cheeky bastard that he is, manages to catch No-Tail with Nightmare before picking up the Invis. And backing off to safety. But yeah, this is looking great for Kaipi. Total night and day difference, this draft and this lane phase compared to Game 1. And looking at Fnatic's lineup, I don't know. Like, you have 2 heroes that can fight fairly early depending on how you build them in the Lone Druid and the Lifestealer. But they're going to be very susceptible to ganks. There's just so many ways for Kaipi to get on top of you. Bane, Queen of Pain, Darkseer gives you the team fight potential you want and you need. We can see Fnatic, Era is struggling now against this Darkseer, as I thought he would. Trixie's farm is okay. I mean, he is getting decent last hits out of the jungle. He's atop the board right now. But it's not nearly the same situation that Ursa's in. And now we're going to see a smoke up. Speaking of, yeah, they're going to go for something here. And is he... Oh, it's popped. They were just checking the Roche pit, and there's a Fissure. Gonna catch them both. No-Tail gonna try to get away. There's an Illuminate that caught the Venomancer. Envy's not giving up the Ghost, though. Oh, No-Tail stuttered. Good surge from the high ground by Bybone. And yeah, again, what makes the difference? What is making this feel so much more dangerous for Fnatic is they have so many ways to help that Ursa out. Surge, I didn't even mention that one. Surge is a big one. Being able to surge the Ursa, stick an Ion Shell on him, and let him go to town after Bane Nightmare's a hero, and then Fiend's Grip's the other. And Fnatic hurting a bit. Tops on the board, both in CS, the Lone Druid and the Windrunner. That they've got going for them. The Lone Druid is keeping pace, but I suspect if we check the GPM, yeah, Ursa's much higher. That's kind of what I expected. Because the Lone Druid is functioning predominantly out of the jungle right now. Net worth, Ursa's on top. And we may see Fnatic feeling a little bit pressed now. And, yep, No-Tail's going to be nightmared. And here comes Quap. That's a dead No-Tail. They should be able to take a tier 1 sometime soon. Trixie's still in the jungle. We'll see what he wants to grab here. You have something on the way to him? No, Hani's got himself up a set of phase. Oh, okay. Yeah, there is another set of phase boots. So Trixie has bought his phase boots. I was going to say, he's got to have something more than what he had. Bybone doing quite well. His net worth is higher than the Lifestealers. We got 7 kills on the board. as we approach 9 minutes into this game. 6 of those 7 belong to Kaipi. And this is just an excellent-looking laning phase for them. Now, Hani's next pickup is really interesting to me. He could rush a mech here. And very often you'll see windrunners who are given solo lane farm or experience like this just do that. They'll hang out, get their levels, rush a mech, and then abandon the lane to a hero who might be behind, like a lifestealer. Speaking of, oh, Era. There's the Surge, the Gale, and yeah. No way he was getting out of trouble there. TP's there. Good. Fisher caught too. Now they're going to try to look for the return kill. Another good shackle from Hani. Cleaned up with the power shot. And a root on Bybone. RNG love for Trixie. However, here comes a Rise. He's going to get a return kill following the Sonic Wave. And he's now being pursued by Hani. Hani has a power shot. There's a shackle. Power shot. Enough to give him a triple kill. But Bane there with the Fiend's Grip will be knocked out of it by the Fissure. And Pylai Die tosses out the Gale. But he missed everyone. Oh! One more. No. Hani able to make it away by the skin of his teeth. Fnatic loses 1. Now we're going to see Pylai Die engaged upon by Era. So KP overstaying their welcome a little bit. Going to end up giving up a handful of kills, and all of a sudden that gap looks a little bit more narrow. 5-8. As Fnatic comes out ahead in a fortuitous exchange in this bottom lane. We're past 10, looking at the gold graph. Very close game still yet. 1,000 gold separating to the two teams. Just about 1,500 experience. I still feel like KP is going to have an edge in the mid game, though. I just love the way their lineup matches up against Fnatic's. I absolutely do. So long as they're played well, which I don't think there's any reason to doubt they will be. A lot of that's going to hinge, again, on Zissou. He's got to get it. He has to hit his marks. His entire skill set has to be used to maximum efficiency. If he nightmares the right target, nightmares the bear, for example, Fiend's grips the even if he enfeebles the lifestealer, and then Fiend's grips the lone druid, you know, or you can swap him out as you please. If they can do that, and he can get off a full channel Fiend's grip, they'll win every single fight. Every single fight they'll win. Ursa eats an Illuminate in the face. It's okay, though. Putting some pressure on the tier 1 top. It's about a quarter health. Back down here in bottom, KP. Beginning to rattle their Saber a little bit. And they're going to look to grab Era. Zissou, Fiend's gripped. Rage was there, and they're not going to go ahead and commit. Or now they are. Here comes Ursa. Off of the Surge. Rage is off. Good vacuum from Bybone. Wall goes down as well. There's the ulti coming out from Pylai Die. That came out of nowhere. And they are going to try to pursue him, at least with the bear power shot through the woods. And Hani, the shackle doesn't latch. Pylai Die might be in trouble, though. We're going to see Windrunner cleaned up, and here comes the Rise! Able to get right on top of him. Sonic Wave missed on Trixie, but cleaned up the Shaker. And Trixie now trying to make a run for the well, but not running too fast. Down he goes. He's going to the well the rough way. Oh, nice! Very nice! The bear denies him. Beautiful! I have never seen that. Never seen that! What a play! Not the biggest deal in the world, not going to determine the outcome of the game, but I just saw something in Dota after a year of casting, and if you trust the Steam count, more than 3,500 hours of playtime and cast time for Dota in the last 12 months. I have never seen a lone druid deny himself with his own bear. I have never seen it in a live game. Well played. Well played. Still, Kaipi, the big winners overall, as they extend their lead once again, make it 12-5. At 13 minutes in, the gold heading their way, experience the same thing. And we'll see what Arise is going to do with that Ogre Club. If he goes BKB, I'm fine with it. Doesn't bother me at all. But just looking at the way that their lineup's going to end up working, I really feel like an early Scepter would be such a big benefit to them in their ability to fight and look to shut this game out in the mid-game phase as opposed to late-game phase. Could still go that after the Ogre Club. But Scepter's understandable, too. Totally understandable. A lot of spam magic damage can come out of Fnatic and blow up a Queen of Pain if she's caught with a Fissure. Fissure, Illuminate, Power Shot. That's a lot of health and a lot to worry about, to say nothing of the stuns, of course. And Hani, gonna be there, gets the deny, but another tower does drop. Now, another very problematic factor for Fnatic that Kaipi is going to have a chance to capitalize on is they have two heroes who do want their farm, and so far it has not been the best farm in the world for them. Hani's the only one really on pace. The Lone Druid and the Lifestealer, I mean, they're in range. They're in the ballpark. They're not, like, being doubled up or anything, but they are behind. But as this map control begins to wane, the choice is going to be for Fnatic, do they start to run as packs of 4 and 5? And if they do, that's going to hurt the experience gain and the farm, predominantly of their heroes. So getting map control early, very important for Eternal Envy and company. And they've done a great job so far, especially with the lineup they have. Again, they have a lineup that can just get on you and do so much so quickly. And here's a good example. Another Fiend's Grip on Hani. There's a Fissure going to lock 2 down. But Hani eating the... Oh, good Shackle. Is that enough? Nope. Vacuum's there. So... made it a little bit more difficult than it needed to be, but they did manage to get it done. And we're going to see now Queen of Pain engaging on the Trixie. Trixie just a bit too tanky. And the Bear, though, not so lucky. Will end up dropping free 100 gold going the way of Envy. And they should be free to take a tower here. And they will. And yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. When you know, Lone Druid in particular needs room to farm. He's one of those heroes that can just dominate a game at 40, 50, 60 minutes in, but only if he's had time to get the items he wants. You can build him certain ways to make him more potent in the mid-game, and if you do an Armlet Maelstrom build, it usually doesn't cost you a whole lot. But, still, this is the way to abuse it. Take map control away, make it uncomfortable for him to be by himself, which is where he wants to be, and then do stuff like this. Take a Roshan. Why not? You're Ursa, after all. Take a look at the items. Not a whole lot. Yep, that mech was the choice out of Buybone, and that helps them out immensely. He's already got 2,000 gold in the bank already, too, on top of having the mechanism. So, I mean, against the lineup of Fnatic, a pipe wouldn't be a bad choice at all. Completely take at least one Illuminate out of the equation. 16 minutes in, and this game is going all the way of Kaipi. Love their draft in comparison to Game 1. So much more well-rounded. So much more... It seems more thought out to me, to be honest. I mean, last picking an Ursa into the lineup they saw Game 1. It's really weird. Side of Fnatic, Keeper, miles away from everything. Earthshaker, same story. And poor Lifestealer doesn't even have his armlet up yet. He'll have it, like, right now, actually. So, yeah, he just bought it. Lone Druid. Nothing but Phase. Orb of Venom. And he will be getting an armlet of his own. Windrunner. Looks like she's going to grab a Force Staff. Yep. Force Staff, a good item. Great pickup for her. But where's the mech? I don't know that Force Staff has anywhere near the value that a mech would if Hani was going in that direction. Not having a mechanism against a team like Kaipi has is really problematic. And the reason is they're very reliant on burst damage. The burst damage from Fury Swipes and Overpower on the Ursa, the burst damage from Queen of Pain's Magic, the burst damage from the 300 pure damage, for example. Oh, hang on. Era going to be caught out in the jungle. And he will rage. There's the blinding light I had mentioned. And Pylite Die caught with a fissure. They're going to engage this, and yeah, he's just going to YOLO it. Looks like he thought better of it. He's got an Aegis, so he can play a little bit more bravely than normal, but even then, still a little bit risky. But yeah, no mechanism up on Fnatic is worrisome to me. Because if you can survive, just spread the damage out that you're going to eat from the Ursa, from the Queen of Pain in particular, then mech yourself back up. After that, Kaipi's damage output falls for at least a little while. And Power Shot is going to spot him out. They're moving along this ridge looking for a target, not going to find anyone, but they're doing a very effective job of taking this map away, because basically this is all their sphere of influence, and I can draw on the map, I can't draw on the mini-map, just can't draw on the main map, but all that sphere of influence now belongs to Eternal Envy and Kaipi. And being able to shrink the map like that, to strangle, to suffocate a Lone Druid and a Lifestealer is the way to beat them. Having a Bane doesn't hurt either. Down here on bottom, Rise is going to get his BKB. He's about 300 gold away from having his Mithril Hammer. And now it becomes a question of how hard does Kaipi want to press this? Do they want to go force a 5-man fight, or do they want to just continue to play gank Dota? Either one is fine. With an Aegis, I feel like they could take a risk and just look to push a Rax now, or at least push down to tier 2 and then fall back. If they can take a fight at a tier 2, though, they do have the ability to bring down a tier 3 very quickly. If they can get a couple of heroes off the board for Fnatic. And I said this last time in relation to Fnatic, and I think it applies to oh, hang on, just heard a Sonic Wave spin. Wow. Just 100% blew up blew up a Keeper of the Light. And Arise, pulling the trigger quick. Adds another kill to the board. Net worth, the exact opposite of Game 1. Top 3 belonging to Kaipi this time. Druid and Lifestealer, down near the middle of the pack, not where they want to be. Especially when an Ursa is about 50% ahead. Now we're going to see Trixie spotted out. They don't have a way to stun him, so he will be able to make it away. Bear might not be so lucky. Oh, vacuum a little late, actually. So Fnatic trying to deal with this as best they can, keeping at least some of their heroes alive some of the time. Taking a look at the scoreboard and kills. We got 6-1 and 3 on Ursa. Eternal Envy having a very good game. Started off with a quick couple of kills early on, and has just been rolling since then. 4-1 on Arise, having a much better game on Queen of Pain than he did on Tinker. 3-2 for Hani on our Windrunner, and Bane sitting at 2-1. Then just your typical grab bag after that. But yeah, I mean, you just see Fnatic does not want to take a chance on moving out, and this is just the perfect way to deal with their lineup. Condense them. Make that lone druid not so lonely. Suck away their ability to find good experience and good gold. 20 minutes in now. Our gold graph continues to move the way of Kaipi. 7,500 gold their advantage. The experience is right about in that same ballpark. Back to the Druid. Does still appear he's looking to get himself an armlet. Not far from it now. Couple hundred gold at the most. Zizou hasn't added much of anything. The Blink Dagger was the choice for Eternal Envy. I don't mind that, but they need to get something out of it, and we're going to see Windrunner actually get a kill on Venomancer up at top. But Envy, I mean, if you're going to invest in a Blink Dagger on a hero like an Ursa instead of a, what I would call a true carry item, a Basher, BKB, anything like that, if you're going to do that, great, but put it to use. Don't sit back and wait. I mean, the Aegis is going to be fading like right now, basically. 30 seconds or so. So you may as well get as much out of that as you can right now. Taking a look at the Lifestealer. He's got his armlet, his Bassy, whatever. Waiting to see what he wants to grab next. Against this lineup, it's hard to call, really. Honestly, a Basher probably the best call he can make. Something to try and knock the Ursa out of his stride. Once these fights do get going. Arise did complete his BKB. But both teams content to fall back and farm. 22 minutes in, 20 kills on the board, 14 belong to Kaipi. If you're just tuning in, this is the broadcast from replay of a series played yesterday. No one has seen this, so it is fresh. You're not missing anything, or you didn't miss the party. This is the first live broadcast of this series. Kaipi and Fnatic. The loser of this will be playing against Team Liquid later today at 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 10 in the morning, Central European Summertime, I should say. And they're going to engage on Trixie. Here we go. There's the Earth Shock and locked the hell down. So many ways to slow targets down. Good shackle locks Envy in place at the moment. There's a vacuum back on Hani, though. But yeah, again, I touched on it. Shadow Strike, Surge. I mean, there's just almost every hero. Actually, every single hero, now that I think about it, on the side of KP has a way to help the Ursa. And that's why we're seeing them get so much mileage out of him. Very high priority target brought off the map, or taken off the map. In the Lone Druid at that time. Continuing to just play very slow and methodical Dota. Can't say I mind it. Ani's got 2,000 gold in the bank. They're still lacking a mechanism. And, I mean, at this point, I don't know that it would have mattered because Kaipi hasn't really been forcing a lot of 5-on-5 fights. They've just been playing gank-style Dota. But they do need a mech soon. They have to have it. It's one of the few ways they can look to mitigate and survive through a lot of the burst damage that Kaipi is going to be able to turn out. And just look at the warding, actually. I haven't even talked... God, I hate not being able to draw. Right here. We got our Packer 3 around this tier 2 mid. One there. Just taking control of the map as much as they can and punishing Fnatic anytime they come out from under the safety and succor of their tier 2s. They haven't lost the tower yet, by the way. I just noticed that. I was thinking they lost mid. They didn't. All towers still standing for Kaipi right now. And Fnatic beginning to feel the asphyxiation a bit, I do believe. Gonna look to change that as they push out on top. We've got Smoke on 2, making their way northward. Trixie sitting in here in mid. We'll see where he wants to wind up. He is going to make his way up there too. Could be the catalyst for our first major 5-on-5 team fight. Focus fire from Hani. Laying into the tower. There's massive TP reaction. There's going to be a vacuum to bring it back. Good Fissure, though, from No-Tail. Buys him a little bit of time. Aristotle. Oh, they're actually No-Tail taken out of the TP with the vacuum. He's going to be cleaned up, and a Gale going to catch the Bear. The Bear making a run for it. The rest of Fnatic making a run for it, and Kaipi quickly pursuing them out. There's a Shadow Strike. Going to catch the Bear, and look how slow. Blinding Light. Very well placed out of fly, buys them some time. We'll see if they want to push off of this or not. Mech's going to be used to get their gloves back up and put them in fighting shape. They've got a double creep wave coming. With one catapult as well. This would be a good time to push. Shaker has respawned. We'll see how quickly he can get here, if he gets there at all. Luminate's still doing good damage at this phase, and there's a Gale. Pile Die just went for it. Throws off the Poison Nova. Should be cleaned up, but the tower will end up dropping regardless, and here we go. BKB was popped. Good vacuum into the wall. There's oh my goodness. Arise. Gonna be eating a shackle shot. Why can I not get that out? The item. Oh my god. It is just a function of no sleep, I do believe. But the Darkseer with his... Hang on. Zissou. Wow. One of the worst team fights I've ever commentated. Zissou. Still going to town on Trixie. Trixie making a run for it. And a root will be there, and it's enough to get another kill on the board. That's a double kill for Hani. So a big turnaround for Fnatic. Shivas. My goodness. I could not get that word out of my mouth to save my life. Shiva's Guard. Why can I not get that out? Sorry about that. 26 minutes in. 10-18. And Fnatic does lose their tier 2 top, but they do manage to get a few turnaround kills. 10,000 gold, still the advantage of Kaipi. The experience dips up. But, you know, and you'll see this once in a while. This is one of those things where you look at it, and you know a team is... It puts in perspective just how behind a team is. That dip up right there represents the biggest win Fnatic's had all game. That small dip upwards that looks like just a marginal dent is the biggest win that Kaipi, or excuse me, that Fnatic has had all game. And Kaipi has just been strangling them. Just choking them out completely. Shiva's Guard. I hate you. Completely threw me off my rhythm in that team fight. That sucks. In the meantime, Roshan is brought down by Envy once again, so he's got himself a fresh Aegis. And they may just look to push again. Moving their way into the Radiant side jungle. Little counter warding going on. And the net worth, now with the Queen of Pain at the top, actually. Arise going to be getting a Scythe of Ice up as well. And Fnatic continuing to just play very, very passively. Very, very passively. And, I mean, really, Fnatic's doing what they need to be doing here. I'm actually a little surprised that, especially now, Kaipi isn't just continuing to try to pour the pressure on the way they were. I mean, they don't have to. They're in good shape. 4 staff up on Pilot Die, by the way. Saw him put that to use, and he just went for it behind the tier 2 moments ago. And didn't exactly work out for him, but hey, whatever. Still got the tower. Still maintain a gold lead. Yeah, I mean, and you look at that. Already it's beginning to turn itself around. And looks like we have a pause, even though this is a replay. Want to remind everyone once again that this is being broadcasted from replays here today. Kaipi taking on Fnatic. This is game 2 of this best of 3, with Fnatic currently leading this series 1-0. The loser of this series will be meeting Team Liquid at 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And everything you're seeing right now, by the way, is part of the replay too. But anyway, 4 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time will be our next series. The loser of this series meeting Team Liquid. Then after that, at 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we'll have Dignitas taking on Mousesports. So just continuing to blow through our Western Qualifier. A lot of good Dota already and a lot more ahead. In fact, we're going to be having 2-3 series a day for the next 5-6 days, I think, actually. And we're going to be here all, well, I'm going to be here all damn day. I'm not like BTS. BTS got a whole crew of people. I'm just little old me. Little old me here on One More Game TV, too. And the tower, very nice deny out of Arise there. And Hani should be able to make it away. Arise actually had to spin to BKB to do that, but now the Shivas goes off against Sonic Wave, going to catch Trixie. Poison Nova's there as well. Arrow trying to make it a run for it. He will make it away. But that Druid has just died so many times this game. He has had a very tough game. Very, very difficult game for the Lone Druid. And we can see, yeah, he's 0-4. And has just never really felt like a big factor. He's felt tanky, but that's what a Druid's supposed to do. He's supposed to feel tanky. It looks like he's getting a basher. He's got a belt of strength on the way. But, you know, and that's to Kaipi's credit. They have made a priority of killing that Druid off as much as they can, of strangling him, of making him feel very uncomfortable in his own jungle or even farming his own lane. He died twice, basically right in this... God, I hate not being able to draw on the map. Right in that piece of real estate, he died twice. And now Fnatic, once again, sucked up under their tower. Take a look at the levels. And this is where so many games are won and lost, is... I mean, their supports just aren't getting the items. They're not getting the experience. They're falling behind in a very big way. Top 3 in net worth all belong to Kaipi now. Ursa atop the board. Queen of Pain. Did somebody just hit a BKB? Somebody just fat finger a BKB? I'm almost positive. Yep. Saw your eyes. You fat fingered a BKB. You fat fingered it. Probably trying to use his bottle. But, Basher now done on Era. He's picked up a Vlad's as well. Now, usually when you see a Vlad's pick up on a Lifestealer, that tells you they want to win the game and end the game soon. This is, I think, a necessity item for them to try and just survive. And still no mech. Still no mech. That is just bizarre to me. I'm just... it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, Windrunner's got 2,900 gold in the bank. Scythe of Ice, I mean, makes a ton of sense. And I guess if you're prioritizing that, but I mean, to this point, surely somebody could have invested in a mech. Anyway, we got damn near 30 kills on the board, 29, if you want to be anal about it. 19 of them belong to Kaipi. And they're just about doubling up their opponents. The gold and experience has been moving in their direction, basically, since 10 minutes in. And honestly, this game has been within their control, more or less, from the first blood. They just had a very good first set of engagements in top lane up against an offensive tri-lane of Fnatic that would eventually fail and be forced to be abandoned. And that, in and of itself, was huge. Giving Ursa the free farm, the levels he wanted and he needed. He's picked up a Basher now, has his BKB as well. And hopefully be looking to put it to use soon. We've had a few good engagements, but for the most part, it's been a lot of cat and mouse. A lot of gank Dota. Not a lot of full 5-on-5 team fight, but that's okay. I mean, especially if you're in the case of Fnatic, you want a cat and mouse. You want to kite the Ursa as much as you possibly can. And speaking of, Ursa is spotted out here. He's just going to Earthshock the bear. Gets a good bash as well. The bear going to be able to pull back to safety, but this should guarantee the tier 2 dropping. Fnatic's in no way in position to deal with that. And we might see Kaipi try to push Rax now. The Aegis is going to have about another 45 seconds, so if they want to go for it, now would be the time. Illuminate. Does some damage, and there's the Earthshock. He didn't catch anyone with it except for the Druid. Let's see how they want to play this out. BKB, 7 seconds on a rise. Should be 8, but that's okay. We love you anyway, buddy. And the Shiva's guard. I want to make sure I don't completely trip over my own tongue with. And there we go. No tail going to be caught out. There's a vacuum. Got them both together. The Gale came up just short. Very nice shot from Pile Came as close as he possibly could. But just short on it. They catch the lifestealer there. It's problems. It's problems. Still 22 seconds until the Earthshaker's back up and running. And Kaipi looking to slam the door on game 2 and force a game 3. Slowly, methodically, pushing down mid. You see a Rise just doing what harassment he can. And here we go. They're going to go for it. Trixie is going to back. And in the meantime, this tier 2 mid continues to take damage. And there's an open wounds. They're going to try to engage onto Envy. Envy down to half health. The Aegis is faded by now. Wall goes down. Sonic Wave follows it up. Fisher going to be a little too late. BKB's up on both sides. Era just being bursted down by Envy, who heals up after the Fiend's Grip locked in the Lifestealer. Mech going to get him even better in fighting shape. Now a Rise being pursued. The Bear's right there. Rise does manage to blink away. And in the meantime, the tier 2 going to be the target. They're going to glyph it and try to save it. 50 seconds until the Lifestealer can get back up. 1,000 gold from buyback. Don't know that they're going to be able to keep this up. Trixie's there with the Bear. And wow, they actually back. That is surprising. Low health on Eternal Envy. I guess the big factor in making them back there. But without the Lifestealer, I don't know what they could really have done. Zissou, again, I said it during the draft. Well, I didn't get to see the draft. Said it immediately when I saw that they had the Bane. Everything runs through this hero right now. Kaipi's entire 5-on-5 Dota game plan revolves around him. I mean, obviously, great vacuum walls, and he only caught 2, but it was very well placed right into a Sonic Wave from the Queen of Pain from Bybone. You know, those are big factors, but it's all about what Zissou can do to free Ursa up. And Ursa, I mean, Eternal Envy had just had the Aegis Fade on him. He dies there, then he's just dead. But with the Fiend's Grip and max range from safety, and that's a no-tail that's very dead. Super dead. But, now they're going to catch Trixie with the Shivas. And by the way, didn't even talk about, I've kind of joked about it because I tripped him over my own tongue on it. Shivas is another item that helps the Ursa out so much. The slow on it allows him to close distance. Allows the Darkseer to vacuum some together, blow the Shivas at the same time. Then you've got a bunch of heroes who can't separate. And Ursa with the Blink Dagger ready to jump right in the middle and Earthshock the entire pack of them. And we're going to see, well, that was the shortest smoke in the history of man. Fnatic had to have seen that, surely. I'm going to guess they didn't actually mean to catch Ursa and Pylite die with that. The other two, probably the two that were most likely to be caught. They're going to go ahead and try to grab Hani. Ursa, in the meantime, does bring down the tier 2. Hani's going to force staff into the woods and get away just as a Rise arrived. 36 minutes in. Courier just kicking it. Just kicking it. What's up, buddy? How we doing? Just kicking it. But back at top, we're closing in on 20,000 gold, the advantage of KP. And just about the same in experience. And this is what strangulation and asphyxiation... I said it like a billion times this match, now I want to trip over it again. Asphyxiation feels like. Slow, gradual, fade to black, which is what this is becoming for Fnatic. We're going to see Era engaged upon. Bane was just a little out of position that time. He a little bit far forward. They're able to get a Fiend's Grip and get a kill there. But KP is playing this very smart. When you have a Lone Druid and a Lifestealer, you don't want to give them any room to breathe at all. You don't want to give them you don't want to be taking huge chances because 1 or 2 big team fights, maybe they get up 1 or 2 items they've been missing, they catch them up, you know, so on and so forth. And those 2 heroes are just better than Ursa if they're at the same point in the game, same level, same farm. They're just going to beat him. So what they're relying on instead is keeping them down as much as they can, building a team and building your items around helping the Ursa. And now he's going to get himself a set of cheese as well as another Aegis. Abyssal Blade now done for Eternal Envy. And that should be the cherry on the sundae, really.
Double damage.
With the ability to now get on top of the Lifestealer and guarantee to lock him down no matter what. With the survivability of that. And the cheese taken by a Rise. Good call. Rise did get a Scythe of Ice as well as a Ghost Scepter, by the way. But anyway. Bone actually got himself a Blink Dagger. It's a fun pickup for him. Poor Lifestealer sitting on just Vlad's and a Basher. But it looks like KP may just want to go ahead and try to close this out. And yep, there we go. They catch Fly, and he's blown up immediately. Bybone showing off his Blink Dagger. Arise with the double damage rune. It's going to expire, but Shaker now with a Blink. There's that Enfeeble on that bear. And he is going to manage to root the Ursa in. And there's a Shackle to follow it up. Mech's going to get him back in fighting shape. Here comes Arise. Scythe device on No Tail. Pops the BKB going to town. Sonic Wave. Should be enough to clean it up. Bybone says, yes, sir, it is. Trixie running from the wall. And at this point, they got 2 down. And Era going to be, caught with the Fiend's Grip. No way to knock. Oh, never mind. He did have a Shackle ready. They throw off the Poison Nova. And they're all sent running for the well behind it. Mana Leak on the Ursa. And yeah, he just doesn't care. He's going to go ahead and eat the stun. And there's another root from the bear. Shiva's a beautiful vacuum into the Shiva's guard. And Fly's going to be cleaned up. Era and Trixie can do nothing. They have no chance to stand and fight. Another good Shackle from Hani, but no follow-up. Zissou may end up dying, but Era going to be in some trouble as well. And actually, Zissou does end up dropping. Thought he was going to get away. Not the case. Scythe device used on Era. There's a Shackle. Gonna catch Pylite Eye. And here comes the help. Ursa going to lay into him. Gets a bash, uses the stun. And will end up losing his Aegis because of it. Arise should still have the cheese, I think. Yeah, he does. Going to pop the BKB fresh off of it. And that bear just getting so many roots on him. Doesn't matter. Arise re-engages, cleans up the Shaker. Era now on the run. He's down below a quarter health. And Battle of the Melee Carry is going to go the way of the Ursa that time. Another Shiva shoes. Trixie might be in trouble. And is in trouble. Down he goes. That's a double kill for Envy. And another buyback on the Lifestealer. As if it wasn't already all in enough. It's definitely all in with that gold spent. They're going to end up probably getting a set of racks, I would hope. Ursa making a run away now. Ghost Scepter used by Arise. Hani's going to pursue it out too. And yeah, actually looks like this game's going to continue. The racks is still standing. Lifestealer. And Hani, Hani should be able to catch him. Gonna try to line up. Nope, never mind. He's gonna say line up a Shackle shot, but didn't even need it really. Windrunner taking the kill. 13-30. Fnatic, however, does manage to hold the racks up. There's a gem right there, guys. Look at that. That actually blends in so well. That's really easy to miss. Like if you're not hovering over it and you don't see it pop up, I could definitely see that going unnoticed for a while. That is so easy to miss. Oh, that's got to be obnoxious. But anyway, we're going to have a re-engagement. There's an Echo Slam. Arise had the BKB up. Era eating the Shadow Strike. There's a Gale that caught Hani. Now the Venomous, or the Poison Nova goes off. The rest are going to be able to retreat. Hani's going to be Fiend's Gripped in. Illuminate does a decent amount of damage, and Ursa going to pursue it out. Era locked down with the Abyssal Blade. He's down. He's gone. 74 seconds, and no chance to buy back. All they can do now is make a run for the well. No Tail hurting a bit, but should be able to get it back to safety. Fly. Oh, Arise thought about using the Sonic Wave. Thought better of it. And now they're going to go ahead and rush again. That just blinks, says, you know what, don't need Sonic Wave, I can scream. It's cool with me, bro. That should be the death of these racks. Glyph going to delay things a bit. No Tail. It's like, I don't have a TP, and I have no health. And, yeah, I'm going to guess he's just... Yeah, at this point, I see that. They're getting ready to call GG. They're just talking it over. You'll see GG come out soon. There's no way he just sits there if they're not already conceding the game, at least to themselves. One set of racks down, soon to be 2. And it would seem that we're going to have a Game 3 in this series. No Tail cleaned up again. Arise having an excellent later phase of the game. He's going to finish the day 12-2. 13-3 for the Ursa. Eternal Envy. Getting a lot out of the Ursa Warrior this time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And now, yep, should see the BKB or the GG soon. I'm actually surprised we haven't yet. You're watching the conclusion of Game 2 of this best of 3. Yep, there it is. So KP gonna walk away victors in Game 2 and force a full series. Very, very good play out of them this time around. The lanes went their way. The Ursa had a lot more support and a lot more help. And Bybone has played really well as well. You look at it, he's one of those guys who's just quietly been a huge factor, if that makes sense. He's 4-2-4 and 14. I mean, he's been a part of a lot of the kills and so on and so forth. But a lot of these fights have been turned around, or at the very least, KP's gotten a major edge from his play in particular. But yeah, we'll watch you farm the well a little bit. Yep, just going to go for it. Anyway, should be seeing the Ancient explode sometime soon. In the meantime, I want to remind you that we've got 2 more series following the conclusion of our first series of the day. This is being broadcast from replay, so we'll be bringing you the 3rd replay of this best of 3 series. The loser of this match will be meeting up with Team Liquid coming up in a couple of hours. Yeah, it's 1:46 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time right now for me. So, the loser of this series will be meeting Liquid in just about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And then we'll have another series as well. So a 3 best of 3 day for me and for you. Thanks so much for being here, guys. Hope you're enjoying the show. Let the score screen pop up. Going to try and time this out as best I can. There's our scoreboard. 43 minutes, 46 seconds, the official game time. 16-36, the final kill score. KP roll.